What up, everyone? Welcome back to the Listicle. We want to start off this video by asking you a question. What if we told you DJI just released a gimbal that feels like the RS line you know and love, but smarter, faster, and capable of tracking your shot better than most drones out there? That's right. Today, we're unpacking the DJI RS5, why it might rewrite how you shoot on the go, and whether it's worth your hard-earned cash. As always, if by the end of his review you think this gimbal is worth it, you can find a link to it down in the description for your convenience. All right, let's get this review started. If you're into filmmaking, content creation, or just love smooth cinematic shots, you know a good gimbal is everything. It can make or break your footage, especially when you're walking and talking, running alongside action, or just trying to nail that perfect B-roll shot. And DJI's RS series has been a go-to for ages. But DJI upgraded the RS5 in some very interesting ways. When you first pick up the RS5, you will notice right away how solid yet lightweight it feels. DJI managed to keep the whole setup, battery grip, quick release plates and all, at about 1.46 kilograms, which is pretty light when you're talking full mirrorless rigs. But that lightness doesn't mean weak. This thing supports payloads up to 3 kilos, that's 6.6 pounds, meaning most Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, and even Fujifilm setups are totally doable. And straight out of the box, this thing feels intuitive. The balance knobs, the touchscreen, the motor strength, it's all very refined. But let's dig deeper, because there's a lot more under the hood than that. Here's something that will genuinely blow you away. The RS5's Enhanced Intelligent Tracking Module. DJI says this lets you pick a person, vehicle, pet, or practically any moving subject directly from the gimbal screen, and it will keep them locked at up to 10 meters. That means no phone, no extra monitor, just you, the touchscreen, and the subject. Even better, if your subject steps out of frame and then returns, the gimbal can reacquire them. That's huge when shooting solo or in unpredictable scenarios. It's natural to be skeptical at first. Tracking from tiny gimbal screens hasn't always been great on other rigs, but in real-world use, it feels surprisingly sharp and responsive. DJI didn't just swap tracking modules, they also boosted the core performance. The RS5 runs DJI's 5th generation stabilization algorithm, which increases peak motor torque by about 50% compared to earlier models. What does that mean in plain English? You get smoother, tighter stabilization, especially in fast pans, quick directional changes, and vertical movement, which is a huge deal if you're shooting reels or shorts. Honestly, it's wild how much of a difference that makes when you're walking briskly or shooting action scenes. It feels less like you're fighting the gimbal and more like it's anticipating your next move. Let's talk about workflow. The fact that the RS5 lets you control tracking and settings from its 1.8-inch touchscreen changes the game. No need to lug around another monitor or plug in your phone. Simpler setup, fewer cables, less stress. That's huge for running gun shooters. Also, shifting between portrait and landscape orientation is now seamless without extra accessories. If you're doing shorts, TikToks, vertical interviews, this is such a quality of life improvement. One of the biggest pain points with gimbals, and really any gear, is battery life. DJI tackled that head on. With the standard BG33 battery grip, you get up to 14 hours of runtime, and it can fully recharge in about 1 hour using a PD-compatible charger. That's insane compared to most rigs. And if you need even more, you can step up to the optional BG70 high-capacity battery grip, which can push total runtime to 30 hours. That's like a whole week of shooting for some creators. Beyond specs, how does it feel? Honestly, ergonomic. The new electronic briefcase handle option, included in combo kits or sold separately, lets you shoot from weird angles, high, low, without twisting yourself into a pretzel. The placement of joysticks, buttons, and even the trigger feels intuitive, especially when you've been holding it for long periods. And the Z-axis indicator, something DJI added to help show you how much vertical motion you're creating, is the sort of tiny detail you don't know you need until you have it. It's helpful for pacing your walk so clips look buttery smooth. One thing we really appreciate is that DJI didn't lock this down to weird ecosystems. Bluetooth shutter control works with Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, and Fujifilm cameras. So whether you're rocking an A7 series, RRP line, Z6, or even a GH camera, chances are it'll just work. And for power users, you can plug in DJI Focus Pro motors and SDR transmission if you want wired remote zoom and focus control. No limits. Okay, real talk. Here's what we love and what still feels a bit meh. First off, here's what's great. Tracking is intuitive and works super well once you dial it in. Battery life and fast charging are next level. Motor strength and stability make moving shots feel pro level. Touchscreen controls and workflow feel modern. Now let's talk about some things that could use some improvement. The price for the combo gets into premium territory, especially with accessories. Only one subject can be tracked at a time, important if you shoot multi-character scenes. Some creators with ultra-specific setups may still want extra accessories or ecosystem pieces. If you're a solo shooter, a wedding filmmaker, a narrative creator, or just someone who hates carrying extra gear, the DJI RS5 feels like DJI's answer to make my life easier. It's not just an upgrade, it actually pushes the gimbal genre forward in real ways. But if you're shooting heavy cinema rigs, multi-subject scenes, or need super exotic workflows, you might still look at pro units. Just depends on how deep your toolkit already is. So yeah, the DJI RS5, it's not perfect, but it's one of the most complete gimbals you'll ever use. From smarter tracking to ridiculous battery life, to a workflow that finally feels built for today's creators, DJI has done something special here. And if you're sitting on an older rig, this upgrade might just make your life a whole lot easier. Now drop a comment below. What camera are you pairing with this, and what shots are you dying to capture? Hit like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.